Welcome, everyone, to Live Reality Games. Here at Live Reality Games, we cover everything from reality shows, and we are the folks that play these games in real life to just kind of get our kicks out of this. Like, we play everything from Survivor in person, we play Big Brother, and we have done our fair share of Amazing Race. Speaking of Amazing Race, we are here covering the latest season of The Amazing Race, season 33. Joining us as our group of podcasters here, we are going to start by first pick up here. We have Susan. How are you today?
Hey, I am good. Excited about the new season of Amazing Race.
I'm excited to have you on the panel here. You and the two other people will be joining you on some recap episodes. You plan on going on right after Pacific showing time?
Right after Pacific showing time, maybe like 15 minutes after that, so the boys can situate, but right after.
Mhm.
And we will have
Absolutely.
spoilers and recap, so you can watch it the next day or follow along for the spoilers. Why not?
Yeah, why not? And you can follow along at Live Reality Games here on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter. Speaking of the boys, we are joined with one of them here right now. Bill is with us. Bill, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Bill, you joined us from The Amazing Hunt, a very similar take of Live Reality Games from The Amazing Race. Tell us a little bit about The Amazing Hunt.
The Amazing Hunt basically is modeled after The Amazing Race. We've done since 2004, and we just wrapped up with our season 36, which is a little bit more than The Amazing Race. And unlike Dustyn said that every one of you on this panel have played the reality TV game, I'm the one that hasn't played because I produced the game rather than playing it. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Kokopelli, Dustyn.
Absolutely, Bill. You're always welcome to apply. And speaking of applying for live reality shows, I'm sporting a survival challenge here. Applications just opened up, and applications opened up all over the place practically. So make sure you head on over to our Facebook group, LRG Casting, to see all the open applications for this year and the upcoming seasons. Speaking of a player of playing a live reality game, we are joined here by our last member of this new podcasting team here for The Amazing Race, Connor. Connor, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
For people that aren't familiar with you, Connor, or what you've played or coming up to play, because I know we've seen a spoiler picture of a new Survivor one. Connor, tell us a little bit about yourself. What games have you played, and what are we going to see you in here pretty soon?
So I have played, I'm most known for the Penthouse. I did Real Foot a while ago, my first game, and I'm going to be on the next season of Pennsylvania, Surviving Pennsylvania. So excited for that.
I'm super excited. I have a few fan favorites already in that season, so I wish you the best of luck, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
And I wish you all the best of luck in this draft. So we are going to go individually, kind of round robin here. We're going to start with Susan and kind of work our way around the screen. Since I'm not a normal podcaster for the Amazing Race crew here, I have elected just to choose two people. We have 11 teams to choose from, and we'll go in order. So first up, Susan. So here's our draft list here. We have all the teams to choose from. Susan, who are you going to choose first?
I'm going to go with Dusty and Ryan.
Obviously, that was going to be one of my picks because he's got my name. So,
well, Ryan is from Missouri, from Cody's actual hometown, and I don't know if they're going to touch base, but he did 8 years in jail for a murder he didn't commit. There's this whole documentary called Dream Killers. Check it out. I'm pretty sure he was guilty, but they totally railroaded him. And I don't know. It's a crazy story. So, like, I feel like maybe this is motivation. I mean, he hasn't had much freedom and opportunity to do things for a long time. And what other chance than The Amazing Race?
You don't think that's going to, like, detour from, like, his social ability to interact with people? He's been behind bars for...
I think people are going to be so interested in his story.
Bill, you think that's going to help him out on The Amazing Race?
Well, usually alpha male does very well in the Amazing Race. It's hard, we cannot ignore that fact, right? So, and they both seem very fit. So, physicality wise, they shouldn't have a problem. But navigational wise, that might be a different thing. Since I heard that this entire season, teams are not going to ride taxi, they have to drive by themselves in different locations just because of COVID safety protocols.
Right.
Oh, that's a good information. I had no idea. Connor, you're nodding your head. You're in agreement here. You think these two are going to do well?
I think they're gonna do well. I definitely think like this is like on every season you have like the stereotypical team that you see preseason, and they're like, okay, we're gonna see them for a while. And I definitely think that's yours this season. I think they have an interesting story that's gonna appeal to the audience, so they have that going for them as a very courageous and amazing story. I do think that's actually gonna help him because like I think once you've been in that situation, obviously we don't know what it's like, but once you've been in that situation, I feel like now that he's free, now that he can do so many things, there's that fire under him, and I think that's gonna really help him because like he's missed so much to have this opportunity to like go around the world is really gonna like I think he's gonna have a fire under his belly, and I think that's really gonna help him. So I look forward to them, and I think they're gonna be around a good bit. So I think it was a good draft pick.
Well, congratulations, Susan. Any final thoughts about this team?
They're
Moving
either
on.
going to fly or fail.
I thought they were
Well,
brothers. I'm surprised they're friends because to me they look like brothers. Maybe I got that wrong, but when I heard they were friends, I was like surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little piece of knowledge here is that they were best friends, and then this all happened, so they are super excited to be reunited, as I called it on their little bio picture here. So, let's see, Bill, we're up next. So, best of luck to you. Who are you drafting on your team?
Would like to pick. Well, I'm really torn between two teams, but I think I will pick Taylor on Isaiah.
Mm-hmm. Why Taylor and Isaiah?
I think usually, well, they are actually a married couple. If people haven't known them, usually people who have spent a lot of time together, they know each other's in and out. And to my knowledge in producing the Amazing Hunt, we always have teams that work well together, usually end up winning the race. So that's just basically a very simple pick. If people can live together, work together, or they can tolerate each other, usually that's a very good chance, especially they have to spend lots of time, I think, during the race.
I always feel like that's high-end drama with a couple comes on. There's drama in their normal lives. Just putting them on the Amazing Race, these two are going to be added, I feel. And they look really competitive, and they are in like the social media thing. So they have to be competitive. They have to be like gung-ho. And I'm excited to see the drive that they bring to the game.
I like
Connor?
watching couples better just because you get more real stuff with them because they're so comfortable with each other. They're not worried about what they're saying to each other. So I think you just get more real moments, and they do excel better because they can do that.
Yes.
They're wearing nice Survivor buffs too, by the way. So points to them.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even like they look like Survivor buffs, don't they? That's awesome. I think it's a good pick as well. I think there is something to be said about the fact that if you look at the history of Amazing Race as itself, the couples do a lot better than like any other like team. Granted, there's a lot more of them, but there's more couple winners and like friends, like brothers, and there has to be some reason why. I have not figured that out yet, but I think there is something about the relationship between couples that maybe like there is a sense of like they're comfortable around each other, but they also realize, hey, I gotta go home to this person. Let me be careful what I say or don't say. Whereas maybe like friends or like siblings, they don't care what they say to each other. They can say whatever they want to each other. Like they don't care. They don't live together. They don't have to face the like repercussions of it. So there is something to be said about like, I think sometimes other teams can get distracted and maybe bicker a bit more. That there've been a lot of bickering couples. So but I do think they're going to do well. They both look fit. They both look very comfortable with each other. I think they're going to be good TV. They look very funny. They look very entertaining. I think they're going to be just fun, have some great one-liners. So I look very forward to watching them, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and speaking of watching, for the people that are watching at home, like, let us know what you think in the comments. Like, do you want to be Team Susan, Team Bill, Team Connor, or of course, like, might as well choose Team Dustyn after all. So let us know, and let us know how these picks are going for you. Connor, you're up next.
It's tough because I want to go for like the funny pick, or do I want to be serious about this? I'm going to be serious to start, but I'm going to pick. I think I'm going to go for a team that I'm very excited about, and I think they're going to have a different approach to it that I'm looking forward to. I'm going to go with. Let me make sure I get the names right. Akbar and Sherry. So I'm going to go with them because obviously they have a little more experience, they're a little bit older, and they've been together for a while. And I like the fact that they know each other well, and they've been together, they've raised kids. A little bit about them: Akbar started this program at his inner city school, and it's called a Lights On program. So basically, he was explaining there's a lot of situations in the inner city. There's a lot of crimes and stuff happens between like 5 and 11 p.m. And so they wanted to give the kids something to do instead of like being out on the streets and potentially getting into trouble. So they have a Lights On program where during that time the school stays open and they can stay at the school and whatnot, and be with people, and like people help with the organization. It can help be with them, and that's statistically has helped a lot of statistically has proven to be a good program, and it's very it's working well. So I like them a lot. I think they're gonna have an interesting approach. I think they seem very Akbar seems very laid back, and I think based on a little bit that I've seen, I watched that little like first 2 minutes thing, and I think they seem very like prepared. Their mentality I really like. They're just like, okay, we're in it, we want to win. I don't think they're gonna get as distracted with like the environment and where they are, because they seem very laser focused on, okay, we know what we're doing. Like, I think, like, I'm going to say it now. I don't think they're going to have a problem with losing things. And I'm going to make a bold statement. Like, I think they're going to be the one team to read their clue correctly. A lot of people misread their clues all the time. So I'm bold statement, but I hope that I'm not wrong. I think they're going to be the one team that always reads their clue. And that I really like their chances personally.
And that is a bold statement. Living with a teacher, I don't know about that statement. I know Kirk struggles to find things sometimes. So if that's how it goes with principals and teachers here, I would be worried about that.
Hey, if they lose their passport, I'll eat my hat. Like, I'll have to eat a humble pie. So,
well, I can back Dustyn up because I produced a season in 2019, and apparently they're. Well, sorry for that team I'm about to mention, but they're a married couple as well, and the female is a professor, and she have trouble reading the first clue already. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
I'm starting to regret that statement the more I hear y'all talk.
You jinxed them.
You have high hopes for teachers. I always feel like teachers have a good like group mentality. Like they will find other people that want to work with them and work well. So I think that's going to be advantageous coming from like the teaching field. And I think there's another couple on here that have a background in like teaching or something like that, or like helping kids out.
Yeah.
I really like the intro. I think Sherry's like walking down the road, and I think she makes the comment, "Slow and steady wins the race." And I think Akbar says, "No, that's not how you play this game."
I do think having the correlation between one and one and go really fast, and the other going really slow is going to help them. It's going to push each other to like not be like the way they want to be, and maybe they can find that great middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good point. All right, my turn here. So, first one up on my list. I'm glad this one still is here. I'm nervous because I only had a few selected that I really wanted on my team. I think a lot of these are great contestants. But my team is gonna go with Aaron and Natalia. Let me just color this in for, let's see here. I have green team. So Aaron and Natalia, they're one of my favorite like types of teams per se. They're father and daughter, so they have that nice like family relationships. So even though they're not like a couple, they still have to go home to each other per se. They're going to see each other at Thanksgiving dinner or whatnot. So they're going to have that mentality like, I have to work with this person going forward. They're from Detroit. I'm from Michigan. I have a good standing odds with live reality games and Michigan players, by the way. So we're just going to hopefully that transitions pretty well. It worked for me in Mayhem Manor a few times. They are world travelers too. Like they're probably one of the most experienced teams in traveling, besides another team that are flight attendants. But they both have done a lot of traveling in their careers, and I'm excited to see how like this team does, especially with their age difference. One's a little bit older, one's younger, of course, father, daughter. I think it adds a great blend of ideas. We talked last time about Akbar and Sherry being fast and slow. I think it's going to be the same thing with this team. So that's my first pick.
Who's gonna go? I'm just watching.
Connor, all you. What do you think?
I think it's a good pick as well. I think usually with the like father-daughter or like parent-child teams, you usually have a situation where maybe the older one's a bit slower. I don't think you're gonna have a problem with this here. The father looks very, very fit. He looks, I think he's going to move at a really good pace. I'm not concerned about that. And I think they know each other very well. I was looking a little bit at their bio, and what they said their greatest strength's going to be is that Natalia said that her father, I believe you say Arun, right? Is that how you pronounce the name? So she said that Arun has a drove-in stick shift in, I believe it was, what was it? India? Was that correct?
Yes.
Like one of the comments was he has driven in Indian traffic so he can navigate anything.
Mm-hmm. If we know anything about the Amazing Race, being able to drive in stick itself is a big advantage. There's so many teams that like don't know how to do that and get in trouble, right? So that's a huge advantage. And also like the traveling aspect. Like Bill, you were saying before, the traveling aspect is going to be so much more important this season. They're not going to be able to, like you said, book a taxi. They're going to have to do a lot of traveling on their own.
Yes.
And I think that's where they're going to excel more than any other team. Like they've traveled to the world. They're going to excel on that aspect alone. And I think physically they're going to be able to keep up. So I think they're going to be around a lot longer than people might think at first glance.
Mm-hmm. Connor, you bring up a really great point. Just out of curiosity here, just to show of hands. And of course, for a podcaster, people listening at home, we probably have to say who raises their hands, of course. But who knows how to drive stick shift?
I don't even know how
to drive an automatic.
Nobody does here, right? No. Yeah.
I've driven my boss's car accidentally in stick shift. Like there's a little lever you can put it into, like, and then I was confused. I got down the road just fine, but I told her when I got back, I was like, why didn't you tell me you drive a stick shift? She's like, no, you must have switched it into the different degree. But anyway, just out of curiosity, because I don't know how to. Susan, what were your thoughts about this team?
I love the duo, like the father-daughter, mother-daughter, like child-parent. I love it as a duo, but my only thing is it seems when it's the father-daughter duo, like at least when you're with your friend, your spouse, you're angry, you're bouncing. I mean, it's stressful, but I notice like when it's the father-daughter, and sometimes even just the child in general, they don't have that where they can express it because they think they're going to disrespect their parent, or they just give up on pushing a point like, no, we have to do it this way. And the parent's like, no, it's this way. And you're like, you know what, whatever, we'll do it your way. And you don't see that with a lot of other ones. Like they'll fight if they think they're right. And that's the only downfall for me with the duos when they're father-daughter, that sometimes the daughter just like, okay, we're just going to do it this way and gives up. But I mean, we all have parents. We're like, yeah.
Bill, do you agree?
I do agree because it's like an up and down situation. So then what happened is if Natalia has some issue with how the task is performed, and then Ara maybe just said, oh, well, if this is the way how I do things. We've seen a lot of parenting before, and usually they always have trouble agreeing on something just because the tradition versus the new. So then it really depends on how they communicate. They seem to communicate well so far. I mean, based on their interview. When you put down in the pressure, it's a little bit hard to say.
That's an interesting point as well, because it's like, traditionally you would say that, maybe Aaron is gonna be want to be the one to take the leadership role, right? But then you have the situation of, well, Natalia, she's her own woman, maybe she wants to take the leadership role, and then there may be that issue of like, well, who's the leader here? Who's the leader here? And that could get them in trouble as well. So that's a good point.
So I guess during Snake Draft, I get to go next too, because I was last pick, and this will be my last pick of the draft, just because I am just guesting here today. My last pick here, going into another strong team, I am going to go with Caro and Ray. They seem like, if I wanted to be friends with anybody on this roster, they would be my friends for sure. They seem super nice, and I think that's always great to have a good working relationship with the other players of it, so you can work together and kind of be teammates together. I really feel like they're super nice, and teams will kind of help them out, because you have to watch out for those things. Like, the Amazing Race has gotten more strategic as it's gone along. Like, there's the detour, or there's the roadblock stuff, and then there's that double thing that people have to go back. So I feel like they're gonna really be nice with people, and hopefully, they don't get U-turned. That was the term, U-turned. They are from reality TV, so they might have a little advantage working with people too. If somebody recognizes them on the street from Love Island, I know I probably wouldn't recognize them from Love Island. However, there might be somebody out there that does and is willing to help them out in a sticky situation. So that rounds out my team. Susan, do you know Love Island? Have you caught up on the latest season?
No, I don't really watch that show. It's one of the few reality shows I don't watch.
You're like a reality guru per se.
I know, it's one of the few I haven't been able to get into.
Oh, maybe you're missing out, because hopefully these two are proof that Love Island is a thing.
Well, it's always a bonus if you've done a reality show, you're not as nervous. You kind of know the routine. It's, your basic, simple format. So I think for them, that'll be a little bit easier of a push.
That's a good point. Bill, have you seen Love Island?
No, I'm just like Susan. No, I haven't seen those. No. But I do agree with Susan, though, because if you be a part of a CBS reality TV show, that you know how they work. So then you'll be more at ease when it comes to in front of the camera, where teams, if they're not used to in front of camera, even with the players in the RG groups, the first time they see the camera in front of them, it depends on whatever games they're in, they'll be like, oh, should I say something different? Should I act differently? Should I just act for myself? So there is always sort of a learning curve when you actually stand in front of camera. So if you're actually get used to it, it does help a lot.
Connor, do you feel yourself having been on practically a reality TV? Do you find yourself more aware of the camera these days and kind of different persona, I guess?
Definitely. When I started the Penthouse, you were so nervous, the cameras and whatnot. But as you progress, it got to the point where you didn't realize they were there. And so teams that are not used to the camera are going to face that, and they're going to be maybe nervous. If they're doing a task and the camera zooms in, they might get stressed out even more. Well, they have an advantage because they've been on TV, and they're not going to get as stressed out. They're used to the camera. That's already a leg up than some of these other teams might already have. So I definitely think that's going to be good for them. Also, they're dating long distance, which I think is going to be interesting. Spending time together is going to be good for them. They're going to enjoy that, and I think they look like a pretty physically fit team. And I'm curious to see how they're going to handle some of the tasks, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them. I also don't watch Love Island, so maybe I don't know how many people do. I mean, obviously it's still on, so that is true. So who knows? They might get recognized, but I am curious to see how they do, and I look forward to them.
So I'm guessing maybe Live Reality Games isn't going to pick up a recap podcast for Live Island Love Island anytime soon. But
The door
you
is
never
open.
know. Exactly. Anybody out there, let us know. So this leads us going backwards now. Connor, you are up.
So I'm between two, and I know that I'm gonna get the leftovers here. So I really gotta make this pick count.
You never know. The leftovers might be like the winning team.
That is true. That is true. Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be awesome if like we all pick the wrong team and the leftovers win. That'd be a great story arc. I'm gonna pick. Let me make sure I get the names right here. I'm gonna pick Michael and Mo. So they're singing policemen. They've been on the Ellen show. They, I guess, are kind of used to the camera as well. I think just being policeman and being physically fit is going to give them a leg up. There's a lot of physically fit teams on the season, though, but I think it's already going to give them a leg up. Michael is a huge fan of the show. I think Mo's kind of like a tag-along. I don't think he knows it as well as Michael does, but I think the fact that there is someone on the team that knows the show very well is going to be a leg up. I do love the height difference. I mean, that's my favorite part. Like, they give me like very much Gary and Will vibes from season 21 of just one being super tall and the other being really, really short. I think they're gonna have a lot of fun. I think they're very comfortable with themselves as well. They're gonna be, I don't think you're gonna have the issue of a lot of arguments between these two. There is something to be said about like, picking your friend. You can't pick family, but you can pick your friend, and maybe you can pick someone you gel with. And I think they're just gonna have a lot of fun. And I think hopefully they'll be around a while because I think they're going to be good TV and they just look like a lot of fun. So I wanted to pick them. So
yeah, it's interesting. I don't think ever will we see another team name singing police officers. Like, I think they're 1 in a million. Like, we're not going to see this again.
Well, then we have CBS to cast us more singing police officers in the future, right?
We could be like a singing like quartet here. Anybody? No.
Nobody
No,
wants to
we
hear
don't.
my voice
No,
sing.
please.
Nobody. Yeah, no.
I don't feel like breaking glass today. Maybe tomorrow.
Susan, a fan of the singing police officers?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think that they look fun. Like, I don't know, something about their pictures when they take them at the beginning. I feel like you can see if there's like connectivity or not. Like, even some of these pictures, like, to put on, but they're posing, like they're comfortable. They're good.
I wouldn't mind being arrested by them. They seem very nice. Like, they wouldn't be like very, I don't know. If they sung me my ticket warning or whatever it's called, my Miranda rights, that would be interesting.
There you go.
Bill?
No, nothing actually. I just want to ask you, really, you want to be arrested by them? But what kind of crime? But you already said just a violation ticket. So
A speeding ticket or something like that. If you're in court or something and your officer just starts singing, I'd be like, oh, that's different.
So nothing more serious than that, right?
No, thank you.
No, okay. Okay.
But Bill, you are up next in the draft list here.
Well, since I'm going to go on the same path here, since I first picked a married couple, I'm going to pick another married couple, Kim and Pan.
Damn it.
I was between them as well. I was hoping I get the leftovers on that one, but
So they are tagged as internet personality on the show, but I think they're more than that, though.
You guys follow them? I mean, I love them. Like, every little goofy thing they do, I'm there watching.
No, I have no idea who they are.
I've heard of the name, but I've never watched.
They have this little show on, you can watch on Instagram, Facebook, wherever, and sometimes they do like parody songs, sometimes they get their kids involved, sometimes she does things about like, you're an old woman, things change since the 80s. Like, it's just a fun variety of a bunch of like nonsensical things, and it's the best thing to watch. You just want to sit around and laugh, turn them on, watch them. They're hilarious.
So really, this is the team that might get recognized in a crowd, perhaps.
I mean, I recognized him right away, but I watch a lot of dumb stuff in my feed. So, to be fair, as soon as I seen him, I was like, the Holderness family. Oh my God.
Bill, were you familiar with them before this game show?
I have to use my geographical advantage. I mean, Canada, but I watched a lot of their interviews and their YouTube right after the season 33 was announced. And they are a very funny married couple. Sometimes humor can actually help a lot when you encounter a stressful situation. If you can laugh it off, or you can just brush it off at the moment, then usually it does help. Otherwise, you will see teams just end up arguing, being heated, and that may not help during the race.
Absolutely. That was a great point that I was going to bring up too. Like in a stressful situation, if you can make a joke and just lighten the mood a little bit, it just helps out and it doesn't have to be taken up to that next level. So great point.
Yep.
I think they're gonna get along very well. Like I think just the fact that like they've been together so long, and I think they're very comfortable with each other. Again, I keep saying that the teams are comfortable with each other, and I keep saying that, but one of them is not gonna be comfortable with each other. They're gonna argue. But like I think the fact that they just seem very fun, and there is a fun factor. Like if you can be fun and take things very lightheartedly, you're probably gonna get stressed out less, especially in those tough situations when you're really stressed out, you haven't got much sleep. If you can able to find the optimism in that and the fun in that, while other teams are struggling and maybe tempers are flaring, you might have a leg up. And so I definitely think that's going to be a definitely strength of theirs. Also, they do look physically fit, and I think there's a chance they could get recognized. YouTube is something that is seen all over the world, and who knows what someone might see.
I'm surprised I was the only one that recognized them, to be honest.
I've heard the name.
I'm still new to like the TikTok and the whatever little video things going on. I'm new to YouTube in general, so
they're really cute. They get a lot of fun things.
I only have time to watch live reality games. I don't know where you find other time for other stuff. So, yeah.
Let's talk about a little bit about being recognized. This is something that we know this upcoming season is for the first 3 legs. They are actually filmed before the pandemic happens. And then the rest of the episodes where everybody is speculating if they're going to be 9, 10, 11 episodes. We don't know due to the production reasons. And then after that, they'll be going to places that doesn't have too many people around. What I think it will be like this season might get back to a very early season, like season 1 to 4, where since there are no people around in the area, that you won't be able to ask people to use smartphones. And then you have to basically drive your own car to places. You cannot ask taxi to follow you whatsoever. So it will become a very old season feeling of the Amazing Race, where you really have to depend on your navigational skill and you have to depend on other things. Being famous, unfortunately, this season might not help that much. I think everybody is in an even playing field this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if it has to do with being famous or whatnot, but when you see people running down the road with a camera crew following them, you're like, oh, I wonder what's happening here.
Yeah, but then people's reaction right now will be, oh, there's people running. Let me run away because of the current situation.
That's very true.
Yes.
If I see a camera crew running at me with them filming someone, they're running straight at me, I'm thinking, what are they filming? I need to get out the way right now. Like, who knows what they're filming? I'm running the other direction. I'm on a stoplight. I don't care. So, like, I think that's an interesting point as well.
Yeah, you're thinking, what kind of prank show is this? Get me out of here.
Like,
what would you do?
Thrown at me or something?
Run away.
Other way,
I was terrified. I lost the order. I always lose order in these draft picks, I tell you. Susan's turn. Yes.
I will take Kayla, and is it Rachel or Raquel?
I'm gonna go with Raquel.
Okay, that's what we'll call her.
it could be wrong. I don't know. We'll find out when season 33 premieres.
I'm picking them because, well, team girl power. I gotta have a team girl power. And they look more comfortable in their pose than the other 2 girls. But that's what I'm going off of for them.
I like this team. I think they have some strategic elements. They said they were going to use their looks for whatever, but they are also flight attendants too, and I think that's a strong suit. They're going to know how to navigate the airport. They're going to know how to go here, go there. Maybe not like in this season because it's more like Bill was saying, you have to drive yourself. So, but they're going to know how to do the airport stuff, which is a huge aspect of the Amazing Race. So.
I agree.
Spoiler alert, there is no airport in this season.
What? There's no airports?
For the first three, probably. But if you have seen recent season of the Amazing Race, even pre-pandemic, very well, scheduled, controlled, all teams are working on the same flight. And I would assume it will be even the same before the pandemic for the first three seasons. And after that, we know that the Amazing Race was being very creative, using a very special traveling method. So then the way to interact with people in the airport or the staff in the airport is minimized, and there will be no airport drama. Being a flight attendant may not even help them that much.
Well, this is why I'm not on the panel here. I'm just here as I know nothing about the show, obviously, so I just major pictures.
Spoilers on the internet, right? So that's not good for us either. So yes.
Mm-hmm. Connor, are you up to date as much as Bill? Like Bill, you are the master, of course. Like you run the Amazing Hunt, so you know like the Amazing Race. Connor, did you know all this? I'm the only one that didn't know this.
About this season specifically, not necessarily. About the fact that in general, with this new kind of Amazing Race, these past couple of seasons, that they're all on the same flight and there's no like picking flights and like strategizing there. I did know that. I know that's been a new thing where like production's like, okay, just get them all on one flight. I think past seasons, like they would do a lot better because of the airport knowledge and like knowing what flights to pick and knowing like what routes and layovers and all that. But the fact that being on a new season, that's going to be very minimized, I think, is definitely going to be their leg up is no longer a leg up. It's just like a leg at this point. So they don't. So I think that's going to be something interesting. Also, I do think it's going to be interesting that they have more of a strategic mind, like you were saying. They're going to think about things and like I think they're going to try and pull off some things like Will and I forgot, was it Will and James? It was last season, the couple that ended up winning. They utilized the genius thing of like, okay, teamwork. Okay, we're a team. Get rid of the other people, and then we'll figure it out from there. And they were able to like turn Amazing Race into something totally different. Was it good television? I didn't like it, but they used it to their advantage, and they were able to end up, reaping the benefits because of that. And I could see a situation where these two girls could do something similar, or just really like, have that mind working in ways that other teams aren't, and that could easily be a leg up, even if it's the smallest thing that they think about.
Good point. Speaking of James is a participant on Live to Give. So anybody that has caught up on the Amazing Race, caught up on the Amazing Hunt, on the Penthouse, all that good stuff, go on over to Live to Give and check out some of their episodes as well. Another live reality game out there for you. Let's see here. Up next, we're back to Susan. Susan, that's 2 in a row for you. So
everybody was picked that I want. So like I will go for Anthony and Spencer.
Any reason? I know you said you didn't want them at first, but now you're stuck with them. So
I'm not really stuck with them. They weren't one of my favorites, but sometimes the underdog does well. I mean, they kind of come off as an underdog pair. I mean, public speakers, they're motivational. Like, I don't know. Can you put work into that? Like, give me something more.
I mean, literally, they are like American heroes. They like
I didn't
tackled some
watch
person with a bomb or
I
something.
didn't watch the intro or nothing. I watched probably like maybe 2 minutes of it, and then I had to cook dinner and I lost focus. So I haven't seen who does what. I just, like I said, the ones I knew already, and I don't know. Maybe this will be my lucky pick. You know, when you get the wrong lottery ticket and win $7, you know, something like that.
Well, Susan, I'll give you a little bit more. They are past military.
Okay.
So that's, I think just the physicality is going to give them a leg up as well. I mean, they're American heroes. They're not afraid to step up to the plate. So I think, that the bravery that they have could give them a leg up as well. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I'm not 100% familiar with the whole situation per se, but they were known as like the American heroes. So there must have been something. Like, I think you chose a solid pick on this like last
They'll be my
round here.
I mean, basically, from what I gathered, their story is, I believe they were on a train and there was like some sort of like terrorist attack, and I believe they both were able to stop it. There was a third party as well who was with them, and they were able to stop it and save everyone. And the third party, I believe it was on like Dancing with the Stars or something. So like, they were able to get recognition from it, and now they're here. So I mean, I think they definitely have a good story as well. A lot of these teams have a good story to them. A lot of these teams have some sort of story, like almost like a claim to fame, and I think it's very interesting. And I think this is, I think it's a good pick. I think they're going to be a very interesting team to watch. I think they're going to be very stealthy. I mean, and so I think I look forward to it.
Bill, was this the one you were going to snag at the end here?
No, that's not it. So I've learned watching a lot of online interview and stuff. They are, like you guys said, American heroes, and they're former military people. There was even a movie, actually. They were in the movie, and they were the one that actually play their own role. So so they're not also shy in front of the camera as well. However, sometimes people with extreme physicality, they usually may have only one-track mind. So they're very good at physical stuff, but when it comes to mental challenge, they may have a little bit of trouble. But I definitely think they can survive under the pressure for sure.
They need a Susan on their team then if they need the mental capacity. She's the puzzle master after all.
Yeah, maybe UB should be their third teammate, right? So then you help them on the mental side of it. Yeah.
Let's go. Around the world it is.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm most worried about with them, and maybe this is a bit selfish of me, but I'm worried about. I'm a viewer first, right? I look for entertainment. I'm worried about the entertainment aspect. I want them to give me some. I want them to be exciting. I want them to give me.
I feel that.
Something.
I sometimes like people, and I'm like, but you are boring. Spice it up.
But to that point as well, I think they are. I'm worried they're gonna be a bit boring. But to that point, the winners of the Amazing Race somehow usually are the most boring teams.
Sometimes, yes.
The exciting teams, the one that bicker, argue, the one that give you entertainment, they get cut short, right? That's why you have winners like, not to throw shade, but Dave and Rachel. They weren't the most exciting. Where you have a lot of teams that lack that entertainment aspect.
Yeah,
that could be a leg up.
I always like the teams that have like the really good like bonding experiences. There was like the team like early episodes. There was a team of best friends. They were like super got along super well. I really like the camaraderie. So the teams that work the best together, I really like. There was a team of sisters too that got like disqualified for not finding a needle in a haystack or something. But their determination was just amazing. Like they did that for hours, and those are just my personal favorite teams.
These two are not going to give up in attacks. They're not going to quit, and that's going to be like I don't see them quitting at all. So.
Before we get to our kind of last pick, because Bill, you got last pick, and then Connor, you'll get who's ever left over as the last days. But just as a reminder for people watching at home, we will be airing this live after the Pacific Standard Time, airing a few minutes afterwards so we can get our studio set up and whatnot. But we'll have the recaps after that with Susan, Bill, and Connor on a regular basis, and special guests. So you never know who might show up for an episode of a recap here. So, Bill, rounding things out, your team, you got one more
Yes.
pick. Is it going to be Lulu and Lala or Connje and Sam?
If you have followed what I pick, I always pick married couple, so that will be Connje and Sam. That's the last pick.
Was that your primary reason there? Married couple? You're going to go with it?
Well, I think in the past we will see, unfortunately for the twin, because their mindsets are pretty much the same. So their quality, their good attributes, and also their weaknesses are going to be the same. When you have team members almost having the same ability to do certain things, even with the Amazing Hunt, we have teams who are teammates who are very similar. They end up having some problem with certain challenges. Which, spoiler alert, in the Amazing Hunt 36, you'll find there's one team that's actually really good, but when it comes to one challenge, they're just so similar, and then they can't overcome one particular challenge, and you'll be shocked to find out who it is. But back to the Amazing Race. So usually, when you have people who have different attributes, where from what we know, that Connje is, according to Sam, less competitive. Or actually, no, actually, Connje says that she's not that competitive. Sam actually said that no, Connje is as competitive as she can be, and Sam is a very competitive football coach. So they definitely shows different personalities in their race, and sometimes those will help, but would it help them to stop arguing? It's hard to say, but it will be. I think they are going to be entertaining to watch.
I think this was the team that I was thinking, like we're teachers or something, because I can see this team and Akbar and Sheridan working well together, because that's what teachers do. Teachers stick together. Like those people that take care of the kids, I think these two teams are going to be like tied with each other to work well together, just from their background. And I think that's always a strong suit. If you have other racers that'll work with you, you might as well team up.
I think that's an interesting point, and I think on paper I would totally agree. Although I think these two teams are going to want to run their individual race. I see a lone wolf kind of esque in both of these teams. I don't know like how much like camaraderie. I think they're going to get along and they'll find some things in common. But in terms of working together, I see they like Akbar and Sam both have the competitive juices. Like they're both competitors. Like go back Akbar, and Sherry both play Division I basketball. So I think on paper that's great, but as soon as something like happens and they have to go head to head, it's on. And I think Connje and Sam have an interesting story as well. Another claim to fame. So Sam, as Bill stated, is a football coach, and he had one of his players who he found out was in homeless, and he then took him in, and then now that student is now part of his family. And now it was their star quarterback that led them to a championship. So they seem like very good people, very kind-hearted people. And I'm telling you, I think even though maybe Connje is selling herself short in her competitive spirit, I'm sure Sam will make up for it. Football coaches are like, we got to win. Let's go right now. First down, fourth down. I don't care. So, I look forward to seeing what they can bring in. I think they're going to be ultra competitive. So maybe they'll be so focused on the race they won't have time to argue.
That could be very well true. I was going to say, when my football coach told me this, but I never had a football coach, to be honest. So. Connor, you got our last team here. So Lulu and Lala, I'm a little disappointed that they were saved to the end. Glad you got them. They would have probably been my third pick team. So Lulu and Lala, you excited?
Yeah. I didn't do a ranking of first pick, middle pick, like who I would pick, but I feel like these two were near the bottom of my pick, unfortunately. I see, and maybe I'm misreading this completely, but I see a lot of bickering. Twins bicker, and especially siblings bicker, and for example, the first twins that come to my mind on the Amazing Race are Natalie and Nadia. Bickering, all over, and so I definitely worry about these two bickering. And they have great names. I love Lulu and Lala. That just on paper, the names a great addition to Team Connor. Love that. But I worry a little bit about that aspect. I mean, twins and siblings, like I said earlier, they don't care what they say to each other. Like, they'll say whatever they want. So, I look forward to seeing how they do. I'm not worried about the entertainment aspect. We'll be eating good. We'll be getting a lot of entertainment. They'll be giving a lot of that. So I look forward to that. In terms of how they do on the race, I personally see, like, I feel like they got 9th or 8th place written all over them. I don't think they'll be the first boot, but I think they're gonna stumble out very quickly. But I'll have them on my team. The names are great, and I think they're gonna be a lot of fun. So let's team fun all the way. So.
Now, Susan, you kind of had the most options for choosing teams here from starting our pick. Why not draft Lulu and Lala here a little bit earlier in the pick?
I have a lot of siblings, and siblings are rough, as well as being female. Sometimes I may be a little dramatic. I often joke that I'm mad that I don't have sisters, but I'm often very thankful that I don't have sisters. It's rough being siblings, and again, strong personalities. I want to be in charge. I can see I can hear them bickering in my head.
They're radio hosts, right? So they are very good with words. So there won't be lack of words, lack of yelling when it comes to speaking part of it, right? So
yeah.
I was just recalling, like, from the cast of players that you've had for the Amazing Hunt, some of my favorite teams are the all-female teams, and I could see these two fitting in just fine with some of your all-female teams over there. So
yes, I definitely love all female teams, and I keep encourage them not to bicker too much and focus on a task, right? I try to instill my producer wisdom because we haven't had female winners for a very, very long time. So please, all the strong female people who want to race in Vancouver, Canada, please apply.
All right. Well, before we go, one last look at our staff draft here for the Amazing Race season 33, airing pretty soon here. So Team Blue is Connor. You have Akbar, Sherry, Mo and Michael, and Lulu and Lala. Team Red, we have Bill for Taylor and Isaiah, Kim and Penn, Connie and Sam. Team White, Susan, Raquel, Kayla, Dusty, Ryan, and Anthony and Spencer. And then last but not least, Team Green, Kara and Ray, and Aaron and Natalia. So best of luck, everyone. Connor, you had some pretty strong predictions for some of the teams, so I'm excited to see how those pan out. So
I can't wait to eat humble pie.
Well, speaking of humble pie, it'll be served every time after the Pacific airing time of the Amazing Race season 33. So till then, make sure you tune in and make sure you subscribe here to Live Reality Games. Also, make sure you check out the Amazing Hunt and the Penthouse when that season happens, or just tune into Connor's season and just get your fix right there. So until then, folks, thanks for tuning in.